Good afternoon. It's my understanding that we're ready to go. Is that the case, Garrett? Yes. All right. Welcome, and I'd like to open the meeting by acknowledging that we are meeting today on the traditional territory of the Blackfoot people, and it's an honor to be able to live, work, and play on this traditional territory. So the first order of business will be to elect our chair for the 2022-2023 school year. So I will call for nominations for the office of chair to hold during the subsequent school year at the pleasure of the board. So I'd like to make the first call for nominations. Christina.
Sorry, I'm going to read as I usually do. I'm nominating Christine Light for chair. I'd like to preface with my appreciation for Allison and the passion and dedication with which she serves this division. Your care for students is unquestionable, and I appreciate the opportunity to work with you and learn from you, and look forward to that continuing. I'm not nominating Christine because I've long admired your work, both this past year as well as in years past. Your work on behalf of Indigenous students, newcomer students, low-income families, and our valued staff. All the core reasons I wanted to be part of this table. In particular, working closely with Christine at committee levels, I've seen her commitment to the whole child and to the whole family. I also respect your honesty and your deliberate attention to leadership practice. Christine has demonstrated a commitment to personal and professional leadership learning and to the scope of governance, which I understand us to hold. You've navigated relationships with professionalism, showing respect for people and for process. The way we get there is very important to me, and I appreciate the work that you put into supporting our team in that effort. Like everyone on this board, Christine cares very deeply for students, for staff, and for families. Based on your experience in education, on the board, and with your deep relationships in our community. Christine demonstrates daily her commitment to the division. She supports me and other trustees and supports all of our staff with so much loyalty in this community. As many of you know, I believe strongly in consensus, which has challenged me in this structure, a very democratic structure. I've tried hard to work alongside each of you at this table to build a representative governance body that our division and students deserve. And I'm quite averse to conflict, so this is very personally challenging to me to bring forward a contested nomination against a very respected board chair. But I believe us all to be excellent representatives of this division, and in particular, I nominate Christine to be our board chair to offer leadership in that effort.
Thank you. First call is still open to the floor. Craig? Oh, sorry, I don't know who went first.
I nominate our present chair, Allison Purcell, to be the chair for next year. I have found her to be open to conversation. I have found her to be innovative. I have found her to try to be a peacemaker and a consensus builder. I think that we have been well served, and I think we need to allow her to continue to be as our board chair, because she has proven we've had a lot of new initiatives, and because of that, we are now members of the Public School Board Association, which is a big plus for our division. And I think that she has shown her commitment to students, to schools, to parents, and to our staff, and to other trustees, in that she tries to find the best solution possible and the best way forward, which is not easy. And I therefore am nominating Allison Purcell.
The floor is still open to first call. Second call for nominations for the office of the chair. Third and final call for nominations for the office of board chair. Call for nominations is closed. The process will be, I'll have Mr. Nightingale give each trustee a ballot. And then when you have made your selection, so if Allison Purcell, Christine Light. Please make your selection on your ballot, fold it so that your selection cannot be seen, and hold it up for Mr. Nightingale to pick up. I will accompany Mr. Nightingale to count the ballots outside the room. I'd like to congratulate Alison Purcell on her nomination as board chair for the 22-23 school year. And before I turn the meeting over to Alison, could I have a nomination to destroy the ballots? Craig. And Michael, ask that you destroy the ballots, please.
Thank you. So I very much appreciate you putting your trust back in me to continue some of the work that we've been doing as a board. I know that each day you come to our board meetings and our board business and you bring your talents and your gifts and you make a choice to show up with those every single time we come to the table. And I look forward to working together over the next year to see how we can grow, and we have many opportunities to look at the challenges that we have in front of us and how we grow from those and how we work together as a team to ensure that the things that we're here to do, which is to take care of the best interests of our students, is our first priority. So I look forward to the year ahead. Thank you. So next, I would like to go on to approval of the agenda. So in front of you, you should have your package, and it was emailed out to everybody, and just looking for a motion to approve the agenda. Christine, and those in favor? And that's carried. And now we're going to move on to the election of the vice chair. So I'd like to start by opening the floor for nominations for vice chair, with the first call for vice chair. Andrea?
I would like to nominate Jenny Steed for vice chair. I so appreciate Jenny's commitment to our students and staff. I appreciate Jenny wanting to learn more about our division and leading with her love of children. And I also want to say that I appreciate Christine Light and how she welcomed all of us last year and helped us to learn so much as well.
Thank you. And the floor is still open for first call for nominations for vice chair. Christina?
I'll nominate Christine. I'm not sure how you're feeling. I appreciate your leadership in every capacity, so I'd be happy to see you as chair.
Sounds good. And I'll continue to have the floor open for first call for nominations. Seeing none, we'll go on to the second call for nominations for vice chair. Second call for nominations for vice chair. I don't remember. Did you do a third call? Third call. So we'll move on to third call for nominations for vice chair. And third call for nominations for vice chair. Seeing none, we will have an election process for our vice chair. We currently have the candidates of Jenny Steed and Christine Light. So again, I'll have Mike Nightingale go around with our ballots. And when you are done writing the name clearly on the paper, if you can hold it up so Mike can come and collect those. Thank you. And we'll have both Mike and Cheryl go out of the room to count the ballots. Thank you.
And congratulations to Jenny Steed on nomination as vice chair for the 22-23 school year.
Thank you. Congratulations, Jenny. Did you want to say a few words?
I would just like to say thank you and express my gratitude. I appreciate this opportunity. And thank you, Andrea, for your kind words. I appreciate the opportunity. As been everybody always asks me, how is it going at the school board? And I say the learning curve looks like this. And I've really enjoyed the journey, and I'm excited for this opportunity to understand more and to see another aspect of the role, and my hope and intention is for that experience and opportunity to allow me to better enhance the contribution I can give back, and to continue working with the board and asking, is this what's best for kids, and to do that collaboratively. So thank you very much for your support.
Thank you. And thank you, Christine, for your time and for your name coming forward too. So thank you. So with that, we'll move on to the next item on our agenda, which is approval of the bank borrowing resolution. So there is a motion there. Oh, sorry, we need to make a nomination. We need to move to, Craig, you'd like to move to destroy the ballots for the vice chair. Perfect. And those in favor? And that's carried. You can destroy those. Thank you, Mike. Shredder. Is he going to rip them all? Yeah. Yes. Yep. Okay, so with that, we'll move on to our approval of bank borrowing resolution. So there is a motion in front of us. And Craig, are you wanting to make that motion?
Yep, that the board approve the 2022-2023 bank borrowing resolution in the amount of $500,000 to finance the operation of the school division as required, pending receipt of government funding, and that a copy of this resolution be appended to the minutes of this meeting.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? And those in favor? And that's carried. Next, we need the approval of the signing authority. Again, the motion is there. If somebody could make that motion. Christina Larkin.
I move that the bank signing authority be the board chair or vice chair and the secretary treasurer, or in their absence, the director of finance, with the exception that for the purpose of signing checks, the signing authority shall be the superintendent of schools and the secretary treasurer and the director of finance. And further, that the board authorize the bank to establish an overdraft lending agreement, which has been duly executed by the proper officers of the board when loans are required.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, those in favor? And that's carried. Next, we'll move on to the approval of the School Boundary Alignment Committee Terms of Reference. So it's currently in your package as draft. That is a new committee that we had created, and Cheryl created together with her team, with Christine, created the terms of reference as well. Both Christine Light and myself took a look at those over the summer as well. But they are there for making any amendments or changes before we move to pass those. Craig.
I move that we accept the draft of the School Boundary Alignment Committee as noted in our package.
Are there any questions? Christina, your mic is on. Go ahead.
Sorry, I left it on. Just for clarity, is it just where it's listed as like the mandate membership section? Sorry, I didn't see like is there a single page of it?
There should be, yeah.
I might be missing it. Am I just not seeing it? Sorry, we have the like summary part in the committee list at the end of the agenda, but not.
No, there should be an entire
Terms of reference, like a full
terms
page.
of reference, yeah, as part of the package. We can pause because it'll be important that you see the entire.
Yeah,
terms
okay,
of
so maybe
reference.
can we hold off on that one and then come back to it?
Yes, I think we could start going through the committees, knowing, and with the board knowing that once we have copies of the terms of reference, there it is. There's the terms of reference. I think probably, so we could go through it, and I think what's most important about the terms of reference, because certainly if you recall in September at the meeting, all of the terms of reference will be reviewed, and so whoever does sit on this committee could certainly make some proposals for changes at that time as well as now. So the terms of reference, we'll just go through that. The purpose, and I first of all extend thank you to Christine Lee, who put the draft together, and then Allison and Christine Light went through and provided further recommendations. Purpose: to review facility capacity, programming, and enrollment projections to determine if new boundaries are required for school communities due to opening of a new school or community growth. To facilitate planning and engagement opportunities with impacted school communities to inform decision-making and recommendations to the Board of Trustees related to any proposed alignment boundaries. Duties and responsibilities. The Boundary Review Committee will review data to make informed decisions relative to future capacity and space utilization and impacts on student programming. The committee will seek public input as to priorities relative to boundary decision-making. The committee will consider a variety of factors when considering boundary changes, and there's a variety of factors there. I won't read through all of those. They're all pretty straightforward. The committee will provide draft committee recommendations to the Board of Trustees prior to public consultations. The committee will host public consultations for feedback prior to final approval of the committee recommendations by the Board of Trustees. And so what'll be important for what's next is the composition and appointment. So 3 trustees serving at the pleasure of the board. At least 2 appointed trustees will serve 2 consecutive years for the purpose of continuity, unless otherwise not possible. The superintendent and all associate superintendents, transportation coordinator, director of facility services, other impacted parties as required, for example, school administration, and the committee chair appointed by members at the first meeting. The meetings will be a minimum of 3 times per year, of course, or as required. We'll hold public consultations to gather information and/or feedback on any proposed recommendations, prior to final board approval. All recommendations for boundary changes to be provided for final approval to the entire Board of Trustees. And as per usual, there is not per diem or remuneration provided. And as per usual, the reports would come to the board annually.
So are there any comments or questions or amendments? Craig.
When we talk about other impacted parties as required, you've just given one example, but would school councils be involved in that too? As part of talking with them?
So they could be, but
They
that
could be,
a
that would be up
decision
to
of
that would be the
It'd be up to
committee.
the committee, but
Yeah.
that would come under other parties if we wanted.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Other comments or questions? Seeing none, you had made a motion. Does your motion still stand?
You bet.
Okay, sounds good. So hearing no further comments or questions, those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. So next is in regards to the committee reports in terms of reference. So those will be reviewed at our September regular board meetings. So just a reminder, if you were a committee chair, that you do need to get those reports in, and they need to be in time so that we can include them in our board package that will be going out. So please get those reports in. And then moving along to appointments to committees. So we have our committees there, and now talking with a number of trustees as well as having conversation with Cheryl and Christine Light, there's definitely a lot of trustees that have emphasized that there are committees that they would like to stay on for another year. So when we get to those and those are of interest to you, please make sure that you share that. Some committees, they didn't have a lot of action over the last 10 months since we've been elected and into our positions. So if those are some of those committees, please feel free to speak up as we get to each of those. If it's important to you or you see the priority that we maintain that consistency at least for another year. So we'll move through each of these. You do have in your package description of each of them. Feel free to ask questions if you're interested in one of them. With having trustees that have sat on these over the last year, we'll be able to provide each other with information. And then you also have available to you is the who was on each committee for this last year. So that chart is there for you, as well as a column if you want to fill out as we go who's on which committee. But obviously we'll get a list later once we have all those confirmed. So the first one is the Board Audit Committee. So currently Craig was the designated chair and Tyler was the trustee alternate. Let me just check if that was an alternate or you were two. Okay, sounds good. So looking for Craig, go ahead.
I am going to step down from the audit committee as I think most of it takes place in October, November, and I am going to be out of the country.
Okay, that sounds
so
good.
I can't really, doing it over Teams is not effective.
Difficult. Okay, and Avis, go ahead.
Just so we've set the audit committee meetings for the fall already. The first one is September 26th from 3 to 4:30. And then the following one is Monday, November 21st from 3 to 4:30 as well.
Can you say the time, sorry?
3 to 4:30.
3 to 4:30. Okay.
Monday, September 26th, and then Monday, November 21st.
So I'm just wondering with the Monday, November 21st, without me having my calendar open, I'm quite certain it's a ASBA fall general meeting during that time period.
Okay.
So if you are planning to attend ASBA in person, then you might not be able to attend that meeting from 3 to 4 because we'll probably be dealing with business at our fall general meeting.
And if need be too, that one can be moved around. It usually is about a week before the board meeting. So just for some clarity there.
Okay. Okay. And Tyler, are you wanting to stay on or you're good to come off and have new? Sounds good. Okay, so go ahead, Craig. September 26th and November 21st. Okay. Okay. So not seeing anybody. Craig, we need you to put your mic on, please. And can you say again?
Because it's September 26th, which I will be here, and November 21st, I'll be back in Canada. So I can sit on that, even though we might be in Edmonton, but I can do it by Teams then. And so that's fine.
Sounds good. Not seeing anybody jumping up for that. So that is our two trustees, is Craig and Tyler, if you're good to stay. So are you interested in staying on? Perfect. Okay. Thank you. And our next is Board Budget Committee. So Jenny has stolen my list. Go ahead, Tyler.
We have to establish a chair for these as we go along as well.
Okay.
So Craig, do you want a chair again?
Sure.
Done.
Sounds good. Easy peasy. So next is our board budget. So we had, the chair was Christina Larkin and the second trustee was Jenny Steed. So you met a couple of times. That was in March and April, I believe. And then we met as a whole board. We did. This year is going to be different. So it's going to be back to those that are on the board budget committee being those people. I do know that as Christina was the chair, designated chair, that she did, when we had our board budget piece, that she did take on that role as well, did a fabulous job. So that is part of the role as well, as we got to see Christina do that, and that would be part of the role again this year. So Craig.
This refreshed my memory, but I can't remember, but in June, which seems a long ways away, I was under the impression that we would try to do more as a whole board on the budget still, even though there's a committee. Now, remind me if I'm out to lunch, but I thought we kind of got to a point where we wanted the whole board involved right from the start.
Yep. And part of our committee of the whole, we're going to be having some discussion in regards to our work plan and the pieces that we would like to do as a whole board or as our individual committee reps. We do need to have our committee reps so that our division staff have those designated people to go to. So we will continue with our designated people. And then if as a board we decide to do something different in regards to it being that whole board piece, then we can have that discussion at a later point.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. So Christina and Jenny, are you?
Yeah, I'd be very happy to stay on as either the trustee or the chair. Either way is fine.
Jenny?
I'm happy to stay on as well. If there's somebody who feels strongly about wanting that experience, I'm happy to take on a different experience as well. So easy on that.
Anybody wanting to jump up? Okay, so we will keep it the same. And in terms of chair, are you okay to carry on? Okay, so we'll carry on with that. Perfect. Next is our community engagement committee. So we had, with that, we had Jenny was our designated chair, and then trustee Christine Light was our, you weren't an alternate, you attended, right? Two trustees, okay. And community engagement was often open that if others wanted to go as well. So I know that I attended, which I attend as ex officio anyways, but I know that other trustees can attend as well. So are you guys interested in staying on? Or you want to change?
I'm open to staying on. I've also been part of this committee for 5 years, so I'm willing for a change. So I'll wait to hear if there's anybody else that'd like to step in.
I see some interest from Christina.
Yeah, this is one where I think I could offer some support, and I'd be happy to step onto that if there's space. Yeah.
Sounds good. Anybody else interested in stepping onto that one? Okay, and then Jenny, are you wanting to stay as the chair of that, or?
I enjoyed this committee a lot. I'm happy to stay on. Do you want to have a turn? Are you already chairing something?
Yeah, she's just did the
I'm
budget
happy
committee.
to either chair or not. I chaired it last year, so if you want that opportunity.
No, it's okay. You go ahead, and I think it's good to have some flow.
Yeah, perfect. And then you can see how it flows. Yep, the following year if you want to stay on. Perfect. So moving on to the Division Wellness Committee. So Division Wellness was Andrea as the designated chair and Jenny as the trustee. So are you wanting?
Yes, I'd really like to stay on this committee.
And I know you guys did quite a bit of work last year. So, and Jenny, are you wanting to stay on, step down? Okay, and I'll look around. Is there others that would be interested in this? No? Okay. So, and then in terms of chair, are you wanting to remain chair? Okay. So next we have facilities committee. So currently Tyler is the designated chair and Christine Light is um, the other trustee that's on that committee. What are you feeling, Tyler? Go ahead. You've been on it for a while.
I have. If anyone else wants an opportunity, let me know. This is one I'd actually like to stay on. It's one that actually works well with my schedules because we do meetings over the lunch hour. And I can get away and make it, but I've done it for a while. So if anyone else wants to really get on it, let me know.
Okay. And Christine?
I'd be interested in staying on it as well.
Okay. So is there anybody wanting to boot one of them off? No, we're good. Okay, in terms of chair, are you okay to remain chair of that, Tyler?
Christine, do you want to turn chairing or no? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so we'll switch up and Christine will be the chair of that. Next, we have the Indigenous Education Advisory Committee. So now with this is one that we did discuss with myself, Christine Light, and Cheryl, just in regards to the fact of getting that continuity is extremely, extremely important. So my advice on this is that we remain with the members that we currently have, just out of respect to the committee and those members that I know, Andrea, you started later on in the time period. So I think that if there's interest in remaining, that we keep those positions as they are. So Christine Light was the chair and Andrea was the trustee. So are you okay to continue chairing that? Okay. Okay. So is there anybody else that's interested, or are you okay with our recommendation to carry on? Okay, so we'll carry on with that one. Next is our Policy Advisory Committee. So we have Craig is the designated chair, and then the alternate was Christina Larkin. So Craig, are you wanting to continue?
Well, yes, because we have some major work to do this year as that ad hoc committee. So yes, I think I would.
Okay. And definitely have had lots of discussion as a board in regards to policy and the work that we need to do. Christina, are you interested in staying on as the alternate?
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Okay.
If anybody wants it, they're welcome to. But
Okay.
as the alternate, there was very little to do. Craig is very committed to policy.
I think you attended one meeting.
Yeah, you did great. Very consistent.
Yes. Sounds good. Are dates set already for that or not yet?
Yeah, they are.
Okay. Is
But
there anybody else that is interested in this committee?
but I think we'll further discuss that at the September meeting.
Tyler, you're not jumping on that one? Okay, sounds good. So we will leave it, and Craig, you're okay then to be the designated chair of that? Perfect. So moving on is the Poverty Intervention Committee. So we have Christina Larkin is the designated chair and Christine Light is the alternate. Are you wanting to remain on?
Yeah. So again, love that work. So I'd be happy to stay. But I always think it's one of the like really awesome ones too. They're all great, but
Yep.
so I understand if other people want to also participate.
And Christine?
I would love to be able to stay on this committee.
Okay.
It's a lot of my hard work.
It's in your heart. Okay. And then I see Jenny is like pouncing to the mic.
Pouncing. I'm hesitating. I'm hesitating. I don't want to take it away, but I am interested in the work that is happening. And so I would be interested in making a change with a different committee I used to be on and just experiencing what we're doing in this committee if you're okay with that.
Yeah, you bet.
You're okay to step down?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've also been on this committee for 5 years, so I think for continuity, and you just started last year, I would be okay hesitantly, but I have faithfully to you to step down from this committee.
It's all good. You can go ahead. I think the consistency is really helpful. And I think there's a lot of things happening on that committee that I've already benefited from your continued relationship with the folks there. And I would appreciate on their behalf if we had your institutional knowledge to continue. Thank you.
Jenny?
I'm willing to withdraw my name and ask you guys questions instead and learn.
this group is, we're just too nice. We're like, it's fine.
I see the argument for continuity in it, and I appreciate that. And so I'll withdraw my name.
Okay. And then are you wanting to stay on as chair of that, Christina?
Yeah, I can. Christine,
Okay.
did you want it back or you're good? Okay.
Okay, sounds good. And then next is the School Boundary Alignment Committee. So those are new positions and we have a designated chair, trustee, and trustee. Craig.
I would like to sit on that.
Okay, so Craig and others. Tyler.
Do not have an interest. However, I would suggest that our board chair be one of the trustees on that one, not
Yes.
sitting ex officio. I think that
Actually on it.
I think it's very important that our board chair be one of those three
Yes.
trustees.
And I'm definitely interested. So can you pull up the terms of reference? Because I do see on our chart that we have a designated chair, but I think I recall the terms of reference saying that a chair would be decided at the first meeting. So I just want to confirm it does, right? Okay.
Yeah, so you would wait until the first meeting.
First meeting. Okay, sounds
So
good. So we have,
Just a
go ahead.
question.
Yep.
But one of the three trustees would only be on for 1 year
No,
and the other two would be on for 2 years? Because I think that's how it's written in the,
at least
well, at least,
two.
so
Yeah.
it could
So
be 3.
yeah, so we were very careful with the choice of wording, just
Okay.
knowing,
At
yeah,
least
so at
2.
least two,
Thank you.
except in years where it wasn't able, and that would be like our election year where there could be, if there was full turnover and we couldn't have that. But the continuity is extremely important when we're talking about boundary alignment. Okay, and then it does say that the, yeah, committee chair appointed by members at the first meeting. So we won't pick a chair. So just looking for that third trustee. Christine, okay. So, yep, so Christine, Craig, and Allison for that. And we'll, once we have our first meeting, we'll look for a chair for that at the time. And next is the Spirit of 51 committee. I heard this is like the best committee to be on. That's what I hear at every board meeting. So, so we currently have Tyler is the chair and Andrea is a trustee. And they will seriously arm wrestle you to stay on this. So, but it is the best committee, Tyler.
If someone wants a turn to try it out, that's fine. This has been my baby for a long time, so it's fine. If not, I'm happy to stay on it. I know Andrea's not going anywhere. She doesn't. You don't even need to turn on your mic. Everyone knows you're not going anywhere.
Everybody knows Andrea's not. Christine, have you been on it before? Okay. Anybody else want a chance? Jenny? They talk about how amazing this committee is. And they don't want to tell you how good it is so that they don't want you to like want to go on it.
It's a great way to celebrate our staff.
Can you tell us when the meetings are typically? Typically.
No, they just get called.
Okay.
Kind of. There are some times where they're around because it's always before employee recognition and whatnot by certain times, but I couldn't tell you what they are. I don't know. I would say 3-4 times a year for sure, though.
Okay.
Maybe 4 times a year. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm hearing hesitation. So it sounds like you're still on it, Tyler, if you're good. In terms of Andrea, I don't know, are you chair of any of you are chair of one of the other committees, but do you want? Okay, so Andrea's going to chair and Tyler's the trustee. And then the superintendent evaluation committee. So the board chair is always on it and then looking for 2 trustees. This past year was Christine Light and Jenny. Craig. You'd like
I'd
to be on it? Okay. Jenny.
I'm willing to step down.
Okay. And Christine.
I'm willing to stay on this committee unless somebody else would like to sit on it for this year.
Okay. I am not seeing people jumping. So it will be myself as board chair and Christine and Craig on that committee. Thank you. Moving on to our special ad hoc committees. So the first one is the ATA negotiating committee. And so Craig is the designated chair. And my understanding with this is there hasn't been anything happen. So whether you want to stay on and
Yeah,
continue.
I'd like to stay on.
Okay, sounds good. And it'll be a busy one. Is there anybody else that's wanting to put their name forward? I am also on there as trustee, but obviously I can go as ex officio. So I'm not seeing anybody jump.
I would echo
Oh.
the previous comment, but I think this is another one. where
That I should be on.
Great to have
Yeah.
you.
Okay, so we will leave that. And Craig, I'm fine if you're chair of that. Tyler?
I just had a question, because I don't have it in front of me, but I like the board chair is always ex officio for standing, but I don't know that you are for ad hoc. Because I
Okay,
think in these
okay.
ones that are negotiating committees, you can't come and go. So
Okay.
I think you have to be, if you want to be
You're
on
on
the
it.
committee, you need
So
to
I'm
be
on it.
named to the ad hoc.
Perfect.
That's the way it is, okay.
Okay, so I am the trustee and then Craig, you're the chair for that. Okay. And then next is the QP 290 negotiating committee. And Cheryl, if you can remind us which QP this is.
I've got in
Oh, it
brackets
says right
on your
there, yeah.
chart. That's caretaking and maintenance.
Caretaking and maintenance. So Christina Larkin is our designated chair and trustee is Andrea. And again, you didn't have an opportunity yet. So are you guys wanting to stay on? Perfect. I think it makes sense. And you're okay to keep it as chair and trustee? Perfect. And then moving on to our QP 2843, which is our education assistance piece. And so we have designated chair is Christine Light and trustee Tyler Demers. And Christine, you were the chair. Are you okay to continue? Okay. And I really do think that we continue that with them not having done anything over the year just because we haven't had negotiating. And then expulsion committee. So with that, we have 2 trustees when needed. So we would call that at the time based on the need and the availability of trustees. Next is our non-union staff committee. So we currently have Christine Light as the chair and Christina as the trustee. Again, my understanding is there was nothing over the last year. And go ahead, Morik.
Just a quick amendment to those notes, Kristen. It should say making connections, but it should say mental health capacity building and family support, not making connections. And then it should not be First Nations, Métis, and Inuit liaison. It should be grad coaches, Indigenous education. Times have changed. Under non-union staff committees, those employee groups are different now. They've gone through name changes.
That's in terms of where it's numbered with our representatives that are present. Okay, sounds good. So we will get those corrected with the correct names. Thank you for that, Morag. So with that, we had Christine Light as chair and Christina as trustee. You guys are good to carry on with that? Okay. And next is the policy review committee. So this was the committee that had been, we had voted on it at a previous meeting this spring, informing that. And so we have Craig and Jenny on that, and with you being the policy advisory chair, that you would be the chair. And then
Yeah.
I'm on it as well as the superintendent.
Yes, and just a quick note, at the end of our committee of the whole, just a quick 3 to 5 minute to go over a letter that I proposed that we send out for proposals. So it won't take long.
Okay, we can take a look at that when we have time at the end. Sounds good. Next is our joint committees. So the ATA Working Conditions Committee. So currently is Jenny Steed as the chair and Tyler as the trustee. Tyler, you're wanting to stay on?
Anyone else have interest?
Not seeing any. Oh, Andrea?
I would have interest, but I'm not sure if I'm allowed to be on it. And I'm not sure, no. Okay, then I have no, I do have interest, but respectfully, I will not be on it.
Craig?
If Tyler wants to step down from it, I'll take his place, but only if he really wants to step down.
Okay. And Jenny?
I'd be willing to step down only because I found it to be a conflict often timing wise with my other job.
Okay. So Tyler, you're good to stay on that? If you don't want to, we can find someone else. You're wanting to stay on? Okay, sounds good. For chair, are you okay to chair that? Just because you've been on it before? Okay, and then Craig is going to be the trustee on that one. Next, we have City School Board Committee. So that was Christine Light as the designated chair and myself. And this is a meeting we meet 3 times a year, pretty much. And it's planned well in advance, you know, well in advance what the time is, as well as the agenda item is usually planned at least a month in advance. The next one is October, I think it's October 26th, somewhere in there. Christine, are you interested in staying on?
I would be, yes,
Okay.
if I could. Yeah.
And I would like to stay on as well. Are there others that are interested? Okay, so we will keep that, and I'm good if you're the designated chair. Okay. October 12th. Okay. Is that the same day as our board meeting, or that's the same day as our committee of the whole? The Tuesday? Oh, great, perfect. Sounds good. Next is I've asked for Economic Development Lethbridge to be put on here just so that it's something that we continuously see at our organizational meeting. It is something that is designated that's a 2-year consecutive term, and then after our 2 years it goes to Holy Spirit for 2 years. So I just asked that it's on here because it is something that we will after I do my next year, then in 2 years after that we will need to make sure that it's part of our organizational meeting and that occurs. So I'd like to see it stay on our sheet so that we can continue to remember that that's an important job that we have to be on that. Next is ASBA Zone 6 Executive. So because we actually took out the word executive, I think. So, and changed it to Zone 6 Representative. So one thing to remember with our Zone 6 is that Zone 6 has gone to general meetings every month. So every trustee is welcome to attend those zone meetings. Typically, they're the 3rd Wednesday of the month. And they are open to everybody, and at this point they are virtual as well as in person, so that opportunity is there if you want to do some learning. But what we do need to do is have a Zone 6 representative, and the Zone 6 representative is our in between, our contact, our if we have anything that needs to go back and forth as well. We do have a vote at that table at the Zone 6 meeting, so they are typically our main person that would do our voting. And if they're not available, then it would be another trustee that's present. So we do need a Zone 6 representative. I am currently that representative, and Craig is the alternate. So I, being the vice chair of Zone, I'm going to be there every time. So I would like to stay on as that trustee, but if somebody else is interested, I'll for sure be going anyways. And I definitely like others to learn about what is happening with ASBA and our zone. So if there is other interest, not seeing anybody jump. Craig, are you interested in being the alternate for that? Okay, so we will keep it at that. And then next is our Division School Council. So typically it's the first Monday of the month, starting in October. Division School Council is something that's open again to all trustees to attend, but it is really important that as a board that we have a designated trustee, so we ensure that somebody is always there as well as our alternate. So this last year we had Christine Light as the designated trustee, and then Jenny was our alternate. So are you guys interested in remaining on that? Christine?
I had some conflicts of schedule, so I'll be attending when I can. So I'm willing to share the official lead with somebody should they want to step in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jenny?
I didn't have to be the alternate very often, so I'm happy to take over as the trustee for that one and swap you.
You're okay to swap that? Perfect. Okay, so we'll swap that. I'm not seeing anybody else jumping to do that. And again, remember, anybody can attend. At this point, I think it's still going to be both virtual and in person. So it's a great opportunity if you're at home and you have, an hour and a half, 2 hours to jump on when you're at home, or come in person is great as well. But it is open to all trustees to attend. And then next is division student leadership. So that is currently Christina Larkin. You didn't have a lot going on.
We didn't get to do very much. I would very much like to continue.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good.
Yes, I know, and I would really like to participate.
Excellent. So anybody wanting to, we're good. So Christina is our person for division student leadership. We're good. Okay, so we're keeping Christina on that. And then Tiba, so that's been Tyler, and it is a designated position that he needs to be on and be the person that Alberta. Okay, it can change, but it's a process. It's definitely easier at this point in the year versus when we came on as trustees last October, November. So it's definitely an easier if we were to look at a switch for that. But Tyler's done it for a number of years. Not seeing anybody. So you're good to carry on, Tyler? You're good, Tyler? Okay. So we will leave Tyler on that. And then Team Lethbridge. So we have Christine Light and Craig for that, for trustees. We do have Team Lethbridge trip coming up, and that was sent out to everybody, just knowing the timelines and the commitment. So at this point, it is Christine Light's going to be representing us as a board. And then we also have both Cheryl and Christine Lee that are going to be attending, and they're able to commit to all that time. So we do need to look ahead to our whole year. So just because Craig's not going to the trip this year doesn't mean that there won't be, the trip could get bumped. It could be in the spring if there's a spring, or with the spring sitting. So we do need to look at ensuring that we have 2 trustees still on that for Team Lethbridge. Craig.
I'm surprised that no other trustee jumped on the fact that they get to ride on a bus for 5 hours with 40 or 50 people. I mean, honestly, but in a blizzard, probably.
Yes.
Other than I can't make it in November, I'd be willing to sit on the committee still.
Okay. And I'm not seeing anybody else putting up their hand. I am definitely interested, but I will wait for a future year. And I look forward to hearing how it goes, Christine. So, okay. So we will keep it with both Christine and Craig for that. And that brings us to the end of our appointments and committees. Craig.
We did have one omitment there, and that's the Public School Boards Association of Alberta.
Yep.
And I was appointed as the rep in June or July.
Yep.
I would be willing to stay on it for another year,
okay,
if that's the will of the committee of the council.
Okay. Is there anybody else that is, Christina is putting, nope. Okay. So it looks like nobody is.
But we should have an alternate.
And I am the alternate, and
Okay.
I'm fine to stay on as the alternate unless somebody is interested in that. Seeing none, we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Okay. Great. Christina.
Just a quick comment. I just wanted to put it out there. We made some jokes about different committees being fun and, Spirit of 51. I just wanted to sort of acknowledge publicly that we love all the committees and the
Yes.
incredible work that goes into all of them, and that there's some jokes about, which ones we're going to arm wrestle for, but that I know that all of our trustees really appreciate and respect all the work that goes into all the committees.
Yes.
And that they're all doing very important work for our division.
Absolutely. And we couldn't be the division that we are without all of the committees that we have and the amazing staff that work on these committees and ensure that we are doing the job that we need to as trustees to ensure that all of our students, all of our staff are supported in the ways that we need. And yes, all the committees are great and wonderful. And just in making that joke, it is that Andrea always comes to our board meeting and doesn't want anybody to think that that's the committee that they want to swap her out for. So we have one thing over the last year, I think our trustees have learned so much by being on these committees, and just the knowledge and the information and the experience that our trustees have learned and gained has been absolutely amazing. It's helped us grow as a board to be able to better do our jobs. And it is important that we look to the next year to have some change, even though this year we do recognize that we want that continuity, but that next year we do really look at what changes can we make so that we all can learn what's happening in our division, having that knowledge for all of us. So, but we have made our decisions for today, for our board, for our committees and everything, and I appreciate that. We also have our liaison school lists, and those will go out as well. They go out to the schools, right?
They went out in June.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds
So
good.
hopefully trustees have been getting invitations and
Yeah.
to events.
I know a number of trustees have, and I've certainly been able to go out and enjoy some of the welcome back barbecues at the schools that I have. So, yep. Craig.
Just one on the liaison. I don't think I'll be able to do the Winston Churchill one.
Okay.
So I would be willing to trade with someone for another school, but it's just not possible for me
Okay.
right
Just
now.
doesn't work with you with
No.
the timing of that. Okay. So let's just. Do you know what night their school council meetings are? It's typically the Wednesday, but
Sent me something for Thursday night,
okay.
a barbecue.
Okay.
But I
Do you know
am,
when their school council meetings
Just their barbecue. I'll look up their school council meetings.
Yes. Do you know when the school council meetings are?
no,
So you can't make the school council meetings?
no, I
correct?
think I have some previous engagements that just preclude me from doing.
Okay.
I've got it here somewhere, but
Last year, I'm quite certain it's been Wednesdays. I just don't remember if it was the third Wednesday. So. I would always love to go to Churchill because I've had great experience over there over a number of years, and I'd love to continue that. But I unfortunately do have a commitment on Wednesday evenings if it is the third Wednesday. Okay.
I have Chinook on Wednesdays already.
I don't mind doing a middle school or a elementary school.
Put your mic on, please. Mic on. Perfect.
If it's not a conflict with my other schools, I'd be willing to take them on, but let me just double check the dates for my school councils, because I do have Chinook, who I think is Wednesday. Let me double check which Wednesday, though. Is it the same Wednesday?
Okay.
But is Churchill's the third Wednesday? I'll look. Let me just look. That's what I just need to check quickly. And then I
think it was the third Wednesday, right?
think it is.
I think I actually have a conflict between two of my schools as well. So I have
Okay.
like a third Thursday.
Winston Churchill is Wednesdays, the last Wednesday on the of each month.
Okay, so Jenny is going to take on Churchill, and then let's hear the conflict that you have.
Because I've
Oh.
got Mike Mounthorse on third Thursday, as well as Lakey on third Thursday.
Sorry, I couldn't hear
Oh,
you.
sorry. I've got Lakey and Mike Mounthorse on the third Thursday
Okay.
of the month, and I could switcheroo so I could be more present, but
Actually, that's not necessarily true. Sometimes it's the third Wednesday. As I'm just going through my calendar with Winston Churchill.
I had two schools on the same night last year and I just
You can alternate.
Alternate.
that
We're
that
good.
can work.
So
So Jenny is going to take Craig's Churchill. No, Craig, Jenny is keeping the ones that Jenny, you're keeping the ones you have?
Just let me know later, Jenny.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Okay. So with that, I think that we've dealt with all the business that we need to for our organizational meeting. And with that, I'd like to adjourn the meeting at 3:10. So thank you very much. Okay, so I need a motion to adjourn, Craig, and those in favor? Oh,
I just did, yeah.
okay. Perfect, and that's carried. Thank you.